All right, we're live. Kia ora, everybody. What's up? It is robett, joined by CEO of Les Mills, not only New Zealand, not only Australia, Les Mills International, the bro Clive. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, very good, Robert. Yourself?
Mate, we are just talking about it before. I think we're in unprecedented times. We're going through stuff that, this is, I guess, we were just talking about it, your first CEO role, leading an international business. Something like this happens overnight. How different, how much did your world change? Because it's not like this is a set to one country type thing where it can be locked down. It's like, oh, Europe's doing a bit slow, whatever. It's like, no, every part of your entire business has changed. Talk me through.
Yeah, it literally was worldwide. So we've been living this now for almost 10 weeks. So Japan, China, first sort of areas that really got hit hard. Obviously China, the hardest first. And, in China, our teams have been working from home now for 2.5 months. Actually just starting to get back into action this week with gyms opening again. But we've pretty much seen it roll out across the world pretty quickly. And we now have all of our club partners around the world are either closed, about to close, or are trying to offer their customers digital solutions to make up for the disruption. So yeah, it's been massive. It's been quite a big change. And at the same time as the club's closing, obviously the instructors that we work with are hit hard too. And that's really where a big concern for us is, because all those fitness professionals, all the instructors around the world that teach within gyms, do everything else, their income suddenly dried up too. So it's been a big one for us to deal with. And like you said, it's the first CEO gig for me. So a lot to learn, a lot to step into, and a big opportunity to lead the team, which I'm really enjoying.
It's like, there you go, Clive. Global crisis. Absolutely everyone's shut down and no one's working. Have fun with that. Jeez.
Yeah, but everyone's in it. We're all in it, and everyone's trying to come together to deal with it. And I think that's the biggest opportunity we have. And the good thing with our business is that we have a live business and we have a digital business. So while our live business is under massive pressure right now, we can lean on our digital business to help that live business through. And that's also in terms of the tools and the assets that we're able to give club partners around the world, and also how we can help instructors. How do we help them get live again so that they can actually start to earn an income?
So how big is, I know it's flipping massive, but how many countries is it in? How many gyms, how many staff employed? Like, how big is this thing?
Yeah, we're in over 100 countries.
I didn't know that.
25,000 gyms around the world, and we have 130,000 instructors that are part of the Les Mills tribe. So it's massive, yeah.
I didn't know. I knew it was big.
Good business.
I didn't know it was that big. Holy shit!
Yeah. And then we have
massive.
We have a direct-to-consumer business as well. So we have what's called Les Mills On Demand, and it's small for us. We're still building it, off a really small base, but we're starting to see some really good traction in that space now too, obviously, as you can imagine.
Yeah, so I wanted to go there on the tech side just for a quick sec. So obviously, the on-demand side going virtual, you've had the premise of that, I guess, subscription as a service base, constantly updated new content people can do in their homes. I've got a friend who loves it, enjoys it because she can do it all without having to get stuck in any traffic in Auckland to do it. So the kind of interesting thing is your whole virtual services have basically not only been set up, but they've actually already been running. And now you've just basically pivoted an entire data set into that product, right? Opposed to, think about, like earlier this morning, someone had to within a week set up from a physical to an online distribution thing and basically build it in the last 7 days.
We had it.
Yeah, you had it all sort of there.
We've been building it for a few years now. We use Vimeo as our platform provider. We've got hundreds of thousands of people paying us on a monthly basis, and that's a business that's been building. And we didn't have to build something new. We really had an existing product. We've actually got 2 digital products. We've got a Les Mills On Demand business, which is direct to consumer, and we've got a business to business proposition as well. And then we have a virtual product set that we actually sell gyms, and they play within their facilities and their instructor list classes. Obviously no demand for that right now, but our direct to consumer business is going really well.
My friend Guy Ricard just decided to jump and say, based on robett's upper torso, do you think he would benefit from more exercise?
Massively. That's why he's wearing a hoodie, to keep it covered up.
No, the danger of my travels, and everyone who knows me know, whenever I go stateside, it usually goes a bit south, and then I get back home and I usually I go with like Monty Beefman's boxing things and the whole gang, and they've got the group chat, and I just get beat down, and then it definitely helps. So guys, stuff you. I hope, whatever. Hey, so how do you see the instructors, right? That's a massive part. You're saying there's and they're obviously not paid. They're not all salaried, right? I guess it's hourly to their own clients. And how does that sort of work? Because I'm imagining there's a whole bunch of stress right now. How do they do it?
It's very different, but a majority of them are affiliated through their own gyms. So they actually work through a gym and they teach Les Mills classes. A lot of them are self-employed and they have their own work going on the side. A lot of them also personal trained, so they have a myriad of incomes coming in. But most of them have been impacted now through this time. So as a team, that's a team we're really trying to make sure we support. We've just released this week some new products that they can live stream, which means that we've got given them product that has music licenses covered so that they can live stream, so that they can hopefully get up and running again and offer some service to customers.
Speaking of Mediana just said, how have businesses responded to your proposition to help their staff, and have you needed to flex or change your pricing? Good question, Shop.
We've been offering around the world. We've got different consumer offers. We offer a 14-day consumer trial, and that's pretty much standard. But in the B2B space, we've been working with all of our club partners around the world, and we've given them 60 days free. And we've done that in conjunction with our partners such as Vimeo and others. And the big purpose there is, how do we help our club partners give their members a digital product so that they can stay engaged? Because a lot of our clubs around the world don't have a digital proposition. So to answer Mariana's question, they've responded really, really well. And we've been giving them an offer for the next 60 days to help get their members active.
Yeah, it's interesting. Almost it's like the blueprint to help others go from physical to online, right? It makes sense.
Quickly,
so have you actually, it's almost like it's almost ninja ship, because you already had the platform that's worked with scale, because you got the Vimeo piece and all the tech stuff dialed up. Then you just blueprint it out, and it's almost like a white label solution for anyone, right?
It is. It's an affiliate model. So we've got an affiliate model that we can work with clubs so that they can then get their members on board, and then it's a future revenue stream for them as well, which is great. So it's been existing. It hasn't been as widespread as it is right now. We've actually just turned on all of our European countries and South America countries as well, so that all clubs in those regions can offer it. Whereas before we were doing it region by region and just rolling it out quite slowly. Obviously, we've been able to turn it on and go fast.
I was talking to Vic and Sarah at Callahan last week, and we were saying how we've both been surprised how when big things can move fast when it has to.
Yeah. Exactly.
And in times like this, for as much, I guess, pain and struggle for many types of businesses, it's also opening up new opportunities, revenue streams, and almost in plenty of ways, technology has been the savior for communications to keep publicly listed companies still trading, for just all of it, right? Like, you've got a pretty good skill set within this tech space. How much has technology really, I guess, helped you in this whole situation?
Oh, it's been good. I mean, we've got a great team around us as well. So the person that leads our media business, Les Mills On Demand, is a guy called Jean-Michel. He's based out of San Francisco, and he comes from a background in this space. So we've got a great team that are focused on driving this business hard and fast. I think the thing to be mindful of, though, is that our core business of clubs and instructors has been disrupted overnight. So this digital product or proposition is a means to help give those customers something that they can serve their members with, which is encouraging. But it is a proposition that we've been driving for a few years now. It's just helped us go after it a bit faster.
Yeah. The other day you put some stuff up. You did a partnership with TVNZ for some live streaming sort of classes. So talk to me a little bit about that, because it's pretty it's a smart use of, I guess, time to own some more time and brand.
It's pre-recorded. I think the biggest thing we've got as an opportunity as a business to do through this time is help people stay fit and healthy. One of the things with the virus is, if you're fit, if you're healthy, if you're active, you're probably less likely to get it. And if you're less likely to get it as a business, if we can help you stay fit and healthy, then we're playing a part. So as our New Zealand gyms have had to close, we wanted to make sure that our product is accessible to as many people as possible. Everyone that is a member of our New Zealand gyms have been given access to Les Mills On Demand, but that doesn't cover everyone around New Zealand. So we did a partnership, and we got pre-recorded content that goes up on TVNZ twice a day, 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And
for the
each day we
kids.
change it. For the kids in the afternoon, Born to Move. And, we've been giving Born to Move to a lot of schools around New Zealand as well. So if you're a school and you're listening and you want to get access to Born to Move for your kids, make sure you reach out and let us know. But the biggest thing with that partnership is to help people get active. And if you're active, you're also feeling better as well.
Yeah, it's... I can imagine, especially with Corona specifically, the shareability of the virus in the gyms, it would be not... I mean, it's the perfect place for it to be to share around. I'm sure the cleaners were going overtime for a while there to make sure that things were kind of kept up. How do you navigate that whole thing before shutdown?
So as Les Mills International, we actually don't run our New Zealand business. So our New Zealand business of Les Mills New Zealand is a separate business, and Dion is the CEO there, and they've been doing an awesome job of running that business and keeping members informed and updated. And as of last week, we had to close our gyms in New Zealand, as you would have been aware of with everyone else. But up until that point, they were kept open, and they were kept open because they had really good cleaning mechanisms in place. They made sure good communication to members and on how to keep themselves healthy. But, we're closed now. We're closed for the foreseeable future. And most of our club partners around the world are closed as well. And that's why the digital proposition becomes such an important play.
Yeah, it almost it's been forcing a lot of different business leaders to take a more strategic approach with the different revenue streams and options they have in the market. So the idea of virtual services, I mean, I'm getting messages every day from all sorts, all around the place. It's really forcing innovation, and it's forcing strategic thinking with it, but also from so you go.
I was going to say the platform's one thing. If I think about it, the platform is one thing, but it's actually access to good content, which is another. Like at the heart of it, our business is a content business. We make and produce live group fitness musics to workouts to music that we then also put on our digital platforms and we sell around the world. So at the core of it, we're a content business. We've got great content, and this is an opportunity to try and get that content in front of as many people as possible.
Do you do any stuff on Facebook Live? Do you mess with that at all?
Yeah. So with the live streaming I just talked about earlier, we're now in a position by the end of this week we'll be able to live stream through Facebook Live. We're setting up a group. We haven't historically been able to do it because our music license does not cover us for that space. But we've got what we call Les Mills Original music that we've created ourselves that allows us to provide some workouts in that space now, and that's going to help our instructors get active again and hopefully teach direct to their members.
Yeah, friend Dave Latelli from BBM out in South Auckland, he been doing a bunch of live sort of virtual stuff, and he got up to like 5,000 people tuning in just for the live sessions. And there's this interesting thing I've been talking about for ages. I mean, we talked about it years ago with the Switch stuff, is owning social time. Like you watch the 6 o'clock news on TV3, and then there's these things where people can start to own these different slots. How have you challenged yourself to lead an organization of this size? Because you seem very stoic, but it was the same thing with Jolie. I mean, she's got thousands of employees and all the rest of it. How have you balanced the headspace of personal and professional life with such a big organization? Like, how have you navigated that?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for us is because we've got offices across and around the world, we're in 8 locations. It's how do you communicate openly and transparently on a regular basis? So we've been trying to make sure we have regular communications around the world every single week. We're doing twice a week when written, and then we're doing once a week with what we call an all-in session where people around the world can dial in. So we did one last Thursday, got another one coming up Thursday this week. We have about between 500 and 600 people dialing in. And then some of the time zones where people are asleep, our teams that are in Asia at that time can listen to the recording. So we're just trying to make sure we're open. I think the other thing is just how do you make sure that you empathize and show up as a person through this time? Like people want strong leadership, sure. They want to know where you're going. They definitely want a clear direction, but they also want to know that you care. And I think you've got to make sure you do this with a certain level of care for your people. And I think that just comes different. Now that comes down to different people and your leadership style. But for us, it's about how do you make sure that we really try and put our people first and foremost as we go through this, and then understand the role they're expecting us to play, because it's frightening for a lot of people. Like it really is. And if someone says that they're not concerned about it, I think they'd be lying. So the reality is we're all reflecting and feeling that same.
Yeah. I was saying a couple of times now, I think there's going to be a new wave of leaders come out of this, because if it was the I'm not saying the old school style of like stuff you, this is how we do it, blah, 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 all the rest of it. I think without that empathy, they will get not only exposed, but they won't even exist in this new world of leadership. So I've been kind of thinking about this word of like leading with love, and Jason was saying the other day, just like be kind.
Like, we talk a lot about leading and just making sure we care for our people. And I think if you can lead with the right level of care, people not only feel like you've got that good empathetic understanding, but you help build trust. And I think without it in this moment, you can sort of be out there in the front trying to have a point of view, trying to lead the team, give a sense of direction. But if they don't think you get them, or if you're not listening up for listening, then you're missing a big opportunity.
I think it won't necessarily just be opportunity. It's going to be the expense of if you don't listen, what that could actually mean for the business, the entire business moving forward, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we need to make sure we manage through this as best we can. And when we get through it, because we will, our business might look a little different. We definitely would have been able to accelerate some parts of it that we've been building slowly. But we need our people ready to go and to put our foot down. So the biggest opportunity we have is how do we do this with not only care for our people right now, but also building a team that's ready to come longer.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, as you said before, you've got you already sort of set up to this new world anyway. Now, if anything, it's actually just escalated the timeline of strategically where you were going to go in the next 3 years, and you've made it. It's been 3 weeks, I'm sure, for some of it. So in many ways, you've sort of leap gap about 25 different board meetings and 1,000 conversations that probably didn't need to. That had to have happened.
The good thing is our strategy hasn't had to change. So our strategy is all around providing this integrated fitness solution, and that integrated fitness solution lives across live, virtual in the club, and on demand at home. And we've got the product set to be able to do that. So I think for us, if we're able to accelerate that and actually use our product set in the right way, we're going to help the business come out of it in even a stronger position.
So if you were, there's a lot of businesses that have had the opportunity to be some type of digital offering to bring in revenue stream that potentially is virtual, and they hadn't thought about it and they think about it now. If you were a traditional, I guess, offline business, how would you approach as a leader the best ways to move forward to think about what your business could look like as an online business, or how could the future of an online position sort of potentially be? Because it obviously will give them more options, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to have it, and you've got to be thinking about it. And if you're not using this moment now to build relationships and actually test and learn from that, you're missing a moment. We're a big one for testing and learning through lots of different scenarios. You don't have to go to a mass rollout across every market. You could test with one customer group in one market right now. So if you're not using this moment, then do it. The other thing I'd suggest is it doesn't have to be perfect. Right now, people are up for just giving things a go. So if you've got a digital product, if you don't think it's quite yet ready, it might still be a minimum viable proposition, but take it to market, get it out there, test it with a few people, and iterate as you go.
Yeah, it's almost like it feels that the intent of, as long as they know your intent is right, they're going to give you a lot more leeway in terms of what you put out there, because they know that you're meaning well, and you're trying and you're trying to do it for the better of anyone. So I think the point is really right. It's now is actually potentially a time to be braver with your business, to try new things, to push harder and go from there, right?
It definitely is. It's all about positive intent. I think right now, if you're not showing up with the right level of positive intent, you're missing an opportunity, and I think people are expecting it. So I would definitely put the foot down. I would trial things. I wouldn't be afraid to fail either. It's okay to get things wrong. And right now, if you're doing it like you said, you're coming from the right place, people are going to forgive you.
Yeah. Now, if you're in an ecosystem where you've got digital products and you've got, I guess, positive momentum, your strategy hasn't changed. A lot of small businesses have had to retweak, shift everything. If you're in a funky spot right now, what advice would you give to leaders of a small business on how to navigate through these tough times?
I would look to others. I'd learn from others. I think there's so much good stuff happening out there that if you're a business that is small, that is not yet trialing some things in the space, you don't need to look too far to see examples of other people giving it a go. And if you're not giving that same go, then you're missing the moment. Like I've looked to businesses in the gym space that never used to take a proposition outside of their four walls, and they're now doing it within a week. And sometimes they're doing it on their own channels. And Facebook and some of those other platforms give you that opportunity to do it. So just try.
The innovation has been forced fed into everyone now. I've been thinking about creatives and musicians and a whole bunch of different things where I feel at the end of this, because people have been constrained, it's like forced creativity, which is coming out. So I'm seeing all these like musicians are starting to do these crazy live streams, and there's all these different collabs, and this kind of, I think there's going to be an explosion of creativity and innovation that is happening. And I would hope at the end of it that it inspires many to think that they can continue that, not just like this needs to be just this, oh, I only innovated and was creative for that thing. I feel like I wanted to make others like flourish more, you know?
I think so. I read this article the other day that talked about being human, being persistent, and being creative. And I think each of those really are important. And the creativity piece is an interesting one because it's different by industry. You know, I think it's okay to give things a go. We're finding right now, we're trying stuff this week that we would never have dreamt that we would be doing if we look back a few months, and it'll change our business and it'll change it for the better because we're going to learn from it. Some stuff will get wrong, but we'll definitely come out the other side of it with some new experiences that will help shape what that future looks like.
Yeah, and the different learnings from it as well. Maureen Talpin, Managing Director at Fly, says, loving the agile and human-centered approach, Clive inside and out. And Danny says, people that embrace change will be the leaders. My business was a total face-to-face business networking company. I'm now running a virtual business networking company, and we're getting traction after 10 days. I have new clients. Nice, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, that example with Danny, I mean, we saw that in China. You know, we run instructor trainings. They've always been in-person trainings. And while China was closed for 2.5 months, we had to go to online trainings. And, you know, we were able to double the number of people that were attending those purely by taking it to a digital platform. So yes, the experience changed and we needed to shape our product accordingly. But there is opportunity. It's all around us. And if you see this as an opportunity, you're going to help change your business for the better, I'm sure.
What are you most scared about right now?
I think the biggest thing is like it changes every day, you know, so I think everyone talks about, yeah, you need to have a plan and think through it, but literally every morning you wake up, there's a new set of challenges. So on one hand, that definitely is something to be concerned about, but it's also massively energizing too. And I think if you can balance both of those together, then you're in a good position where you're aware of the unknown and the uncertainty, but you also have the right level of energy and passion and motivation to get after it, because you're going to need to be persistent. You know, like I think resilience right now is what everyone needs to be digging deep for. If you're not resilient, if you're not understanding you're going to take a few knocks over the next few weeks, months, and potentially longer, then you're definitely not understanding how hard this is going to be. And it is going to be tough, and it's most likely going to get harder before it gets easier for us. But I think if we take that mindset into it, an open mindset to really get after this and learn, we know as a business we'll come up the other side even stronger.
So Clive, you obviously run a big gym company. You're in the mix. You're now having to force out of home. How have you changed your routine for this new wood? Like talk me through that, because obviously before, you probably got a way you sort of do your stuff. How have you structured it specifically? Like how have you sort of gone through this new way of working, especially with the priorities that you've got?
We end up finding we're working longer during the day. You know, you're just sitting in front of your screen like this, talking to people and having to work a lot harder to connect and actually open up those corridors. The reality is, though, our routine probably hasn't changed too much. You know, get up in the morning, try and train every morning, try and train sort of 5 to 6 days a week. I think that's probably more important now than ever. So if people aren't working out, if you're not trying to stay fit, I'd encourage you to create as much time and space for that. And I'm just trying to do the same. So work out in the morning, working during the day. We've got 2 young kids, so we try and spend some time with them during lunch or something like that. I'm sharing an office with my wife. She works at KPMG, so we need to make sure we sort of alternate calls and don't get in each other's way, and then a bit of work into the evening. So it's just being a bit more flexible. I mean, the business that we're in, our business is international. So if we want to talk to Europe, we're normally talking to them into the evening, and that doesn't necessarily change. So it's stretching the day out a little bit longer.
Now, if you were to give your day one CEO self some advice from what you've already learned in this period now, what would you tell yourself on day one as CEO?
I think the biggest thing is just try and have a bit more fun. You know, make sure that the stuff doesn't get on top of you, because it can be heavy and it can feel like you're carrying, it can feel like a burden. But if you try and flip that and it's all about mindset and you see it as a privilege and you can have a little bit more fun, you can show up with the right frame of mind, I think that helps everyone.
Dude, it's not a dumb way to think about it, but the weight feels heavy when we're talking about 100 countries and 25,000. You say 25,000 gyms?
Yeah.
It's so gnarly, dude.
I mean, Philip and Jackie have built an amazing business, and it's a business that's been around for 50 years, and this moment's just going to shape what the next 50 looks like. And like I've said a couple times, we'll come out of it quite different, but definitely will help ensure that we're stronger too.
What do you feel? Here we go. Clinton just says, any advice around mental fitness? Oh, yep. So there's been a wave of big physical fitness, and now if you look at some of the valuations of like Muse and all these different other bits and pieces, any thoughts around that?
Oh, it's so important. I think a lot of people feel better mentally when they're also working out physically. I know I definitely do. But on our Les Mills On Demand app, there's a mindfulness section in there. I think people have a lot of their own mindfulness tools, whether it be meditation or otherwise. And I just encourage you, if you haven't spent time in this or you're not doing it on a regular basis, make sure you create time for yourself to do that. If you're not mentally sharp, the decisions that people will be making over the next few weeks and months are not going to be as good as they could be. So if you're not investing your own time into staying mentally and physically sharp and strong, then you're missing a moment.
How do you structure your time, or what exercise do you for your mental side of things?
Oh, meditate? When I running for me is like my mindfulness. So I'll go for a run. I try and run a couple times a week, normally around 10Ks. And when I come back from that, I just feel mentally sharp. The decisions or the things that felt big definitely are not nearly as big. You have awesome levels of clarity on what's important. So if I keep my running up, I'm able to keep my mind feeling strong too.
You meditate?
No.
Cold baths, any of that type of shit?
No, I don't. We do mindfulness fair bit. Also use Headspace, the app, from time to time. And then within our Les Mills On Demand app, we've got mindfulness section too. And there's some really good self-guided tutorials within there as well.
Cool, man. Well, I know you're a busy man. I really appreciate the time. It's cool to chat with you again, man. It's a challenging, but it feels like you're quite excited about the opportunity net, right?
Yeah, I think you have to be. I think this is an awesome moment, and if you're energized by it, you understand the expectation that's in front of us too. But if you can balance that with feeling energized about it as well, and also understanding how the business needs to evolve through this time, and then the role that you need to be bringing people with you and doing it with the right level of care. So for us, that's where our focus is. And each day we have a daily task force and stand up. We're trying to come together and keep the team feeling focused and, prioritizing the right things. And that's just a big part of what I see my role right now being.
I can't wait for you to be like 60 and have a look back on how you navigated these waters as your first CEO role through this, because I've never seen anything like this effect. I don't think anyone's seen anything like this. So it is wild, and I think, so you go.
No, I was going to say it is wild. I think the opportunity is we can just play what's in front of us. If you can just keep doing the next best thing and keep people pointing forward, you understand you have a role to play within that. Everyone has their own role to play. And I think, for us, let's just make sure that we do it with the right level of care and empathy as we go through it, because we will need our teams and our people in the best possible place when we come out of this to go even faster.
Legend, brother. Well, I'll leave you to your 100 countries, 25,000 gyms, and 100,000 employees.
700 employees. We've got 130,000 instructors that are part of the tribe, and it's an awesome. It really is an awesome ecosystem. It's a great team to be working with, and it's been great spending some time with you. Thank you, mate.
Bro, love your work, mate. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the other side of this thing.
Yeah, sounds good. Man. Thanks for taking the time. Cheers.
Later,
Bye.
That was the bro Clive, CEO at Les Mills International. Absolute good boss. So we met 5 years ago. He was at Spark when Jason was there as well. And we were first initially actually talking about Switch, which is we're about idea to own social time. So it's funny, time goes on, launch Switch, they're then owning social time with a whole bunch of stuff, which is really cool. So big ups to Clive for his time today. And also, I think that the big learning is they'd planned for digital products and services, and then now they've just escalated that. So the strategy has stayed the same, but everything else has been forced through. A couple of really good chats today, so appreciate that. I'll see you at the next one, team. If you've got someone you would like me to interview on the show, the whole point of this is to be able to help share learnings, insights, experience, tactics, whatever, from a whole range of people. My Rolodex is flipping insanely wide and diverse and eclectically epic. So it's awesome to be able to call on some of the homies to be able to jump in just for a quick little thing. And I think later on today at 4:30. New Zealand time, we've got the bro Sam Stubbs, CEO of Simplicity. I think they just hit over $1 billion in their KiwiSaver program, which is insane. And he's got a very amazingly big financial brain, so it's going to be good chats as well. Enjoy the rest of the day, crew, and I'll see you soon. Peace.